In this video, I want to illustrate how to actually take a timing once you found Q. Now, the first video I did with this text was one in which I showed you how to find Q, and Q would be the average number of the number of words an average line has of this text, with this format, this margin, this font size. And the average word in English is 5 symbols or 5 letters long. So again, we would not count this as one word, we would count it as two. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, one word, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, two words altogether. So we found that on average, a full-length line of this text has 6 words, and every one of those words is around 5 letters long, okay? So Q for this is 6. Now when you take a timing, you actually, you need to just read for a minute. And in this class, we'll take timings for 1 minute. So it's a word per minute thing, WPM. And you should never move your eyes from the text you're reading when you're timing yourself. So don't ever do a timing with a watch or something that you have to look up at to see. In fact, what I would recommend is on your iPhone or iPad or laptop, you go online, I would just Google online stopwatch, find something like this one, excuse me, and then learn how to set it, learn how to use it. Now, don't use a stopwatch. Find a countdown watch if you can, or use the countdown function, because that way, when you can set it. I'll set it for 1 minute. So I'm going to go ahead and set it, and then when I start, it's going to count down for me, and as soon as it hits 0, it's going to ring. So as long as I keep my sound on, my speakers up, I don't even have to look at this thing once I click the button. I can just read and do my timing and forget the fact that I'm being timed, which is the best way to do it, and never have my eyes move away from the text. So I'll just click start, and then it starts counting down, and when it hits 0, 0, 0, 0, it rings for me, and I can stop my timing. So that's the best way to do this. Now, for the text I'm going to use here, I'm going to pretend that I read it for a minute. Obviously, I don't want to take up that time on a video to actually read this thing. So let's just work with this as a thought experiment. And let's say that if you were to time me for 10 seconds, okay, I actually get this far. So let's just, for the sake of figuring out, to teach you how to figure out how to actually figure out how many words you read per minute, let's just work like this. Okay, so you time me for 10 seconds, I read this much. How many words did I actually read? So I know that this is a full line I read, this is a full line, this is a full line. What you do is you count the full lines. I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I'm not counting that because that's a stump line. 8, 9, 10, 11. I read 11 full lines, so let's just pretend I never got down here. Okay, so I just read up to excuse me, to right there. So I read 11 full lines, which is 66 words, right? Because Q is 6 words per line. 11 times 6, 11 lines times 6 words per line is 66 words. But what about this stuff right here? Now, it would not do to say, okay, 66, 67, 68, 69. I know those are 3 words, but if you actually count the symbols, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and divide by 5, it's on average, this is really only 2 average size words. So I know I read 66 because I read 6 full lines, and then I got to add 2 more, so that's 68. So, let me go down here. We figured out what Q was. It was 6. Now, in 10 seconds, I read 68 words, right? But that was 10 seconds. There's 60 seconds in a minute, so I got to multiply this times 6. And what do I get? I get 408, don't I? 408? Yeah, 408. So the real way to do this is for me to actually read that text for 60 seconds, and then count the full lines, multiply by 6 because Q is 6, and then count all the symbols in the stump lines, find out how many words are in those, and add those on, right? But just for the sake of this instructional video, I just counted for 10 seconds. I read 68 words in 10 seconds. Multiply that by 6, I read 408. So this is my speed concern, per minute, words per minute when I read this. Now, when I get faster, that speed's going to change, right? So because I'm just starting now, I'm going to call that my base speed. Now, if I were to practice reading, speed reading, with a cursor and with the proper ways, after a month or two, I should be at a faster speed. But since this is the speed at which I am when I start my whole practice, we call this the base speed. Now notice that this is pretty easy to read, right? I mean, let's just read a couple lines here. Babies don't learn to talk just from hearing sounds. New research suggests they're lip readers too. What happens during that magical stage? It happens during that magical stage when a baby's blabbering gradually changes from gibberish to syllables and eventually into the first mama and dada. And okay, you know what? I don't even recognize that I'm reading. It's so easy to read. This sort of text, the text that is easy for you to read, is what the book characterizes as an A text, a type A text. And you're going to have a certain speed for that, right? For me, it was 408 words per minute on a type A text. A type B text are those texts that are more challenging. They make you slow down a little bit. You're a little less comfortable. You're not sure you're getting it all. It's like a journal article, okay? And the type C texts are extremely challenging. They really make you go slow. They're really kind of hard for you to read, quite a bit hard. So the book kind of suggests that there are 3 types of texts for each reader. And depending how comfortable you are reading to begin with, your type B might be someone else's type C or whatnot, but really all of us can categorize the text we read as being easy, a little more challenging, or most challenging. And for each of those 3 types, type A being easy, more challenging, or challenging being type B, and then the most challenging being type C, we have different speeds. So don't think that, here for me it's 408 for this text, type A, that I should be reading 408 words per minute for a type C text. It's going to be lower. Now as I practice, I'll probably get faster in each one of those types of texts, and each one of those base speeds will get faster. But it's important to recognize that this, in fact, since it's easy for me to read, I'm going to call it a type A text. And the 408 number, which is words per minute, is on average how I read these texts, the speed at which I read these texts. So the idea is, it doesn't even really matter that I stay with this. If I get another text that's type A, I will probably be reading around 400 words per minute for that text too. It could be Huckleberry Finn. It could be some other story altogether, or article altogether. I basically read type A text at 400 words per minute according to the calculations we worked through here. The type B text, regardless of what they actually are for me, I'll read them slower. Anyway, that's how you would actually do your timing, and it's important to be able to get the words per minute for a type A text so that you can chart your progress on a graph, all right, and that'll be what we'll do next.